Right. So we were chatting on Friday night about some radio talk, sports talk radio, and you made some interesting comments about Dubé, right? From what
Yeah.
is he on? What channel is he on now?
1500 ESPN.
1500. Okay, yeah. So what were your thoughts on Dubé?
Well, he was on KFan, and sometimes the talk radio sports wheel. I don't listen a great deal, but sometimes I'm just blown away by their laziness. Just how much work they don't put into their job that everybody else wants, and that they're very well paid for.
Yeah.
And then they whine about it. Like, just it was on. So I listened to about an hour and a half of it, and they bounced through four sports, including the Spurs beating Miami, the hockey game, the Chicago Blackhawks game, and having watched the Twins. And I was totally impressed that the guy had obviously sat down and watched all three events. Like, he's trying to restore his career. He was on KFan and had some problems and was out of radio for a while. And they did different sections, and he was talking to Gardenhire in one section, and Gardenhire made a reference to one of the pitchers and his approach, how he had a terrible at bat, but then he recovered it. And Dubé jumped in. Well, isn't that the fifth or sixth inning against this guy? And knew all about it. Knew all about the Spurs game and what had happened there. And I was just thinking how rare it is that you listen to them jump sports where they've actually paid attention to.
Right.
And the biggest thing for me on that is the draft. And whatever draft it is, particularly the NFL draft. Every one of them thinks they're original when they say that nothing really happens in the draft, and nothing really happens in the OTAs, and nothing really happens in training camp, and how bored they are. Like, I'm sorry that's your job. We all have jobs. We all have things we don't like. We do all complain about that, but we don't all complain about it in public. And it's more of them do it than not. And I don't always love Rob Wabshall. It's such a company line from him. But the guy likes to be there.
Yeah,
they should
that makes
pull
a big difference.
you off the street or people off the street to cover it that want to be there. And it bores me no end that there's a ball boy or ball girl or somebody involved with the organization that goes to this stuff who does want to talk about it. Get them on the air for a couple minutes.
Well, you see that a lot in the preseason coverage of Vikings games, where the people clearly don't know the teams at all. I mean, they just have no clue about who's on the roster. It's like they're looking it up in the team guide about who's who.
Artie Cole gets 2 back-to-back interception returns for touchdowns, and they're talking about their golf game the whole time.
That's right. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I'm happy for you. But, if you can't stay focused for a 3-hour game, then have somebody come in at the half and cover the second half. Who cares? Even if they don't know the players' names.
Exactly. I have a theory on the career path of sports journalists. And so you start out as a print reporter, right? And you don't have any experience, and so you put all your effort into it, your whole heart into it. You learn everything about it, and you're really good because you're immersed in it, and you're covering it every day, and you're passionate about it, and all that. So I tend to focus on the print reporters first because that's just sort of where they are in their career. They're more apt to be more informed about it and put more into it. Then when you spend some years as a print reporter and you get different offers to move up in your career, it's typically to broadcast journalism, right? It's to radio, right, or it's to TV, or now it's to a website. And if it's to radio, you've got a 3-hour block of time that you have to fill. And you get very well versed in just bullshitting and not really talking about anything but filling time. In broadcast television, you become more of a personality and everything, and or you become a columnist, right? And so you start spouting your opinion. If you're a long-time columnist, you start just phoning it in. I mean, you got columns that are in the can. I remember Royce used to trot out, when Culpepper was our quarterback, he used to trot out anybody who was a critic of Culpepper as a racist column every year practically.
Yeah.
So there's just the more, I don't know what it is, but somehow the passion drops off. So there's sort of an example of this with Royce's not Royce, but Sanseviere's columns in the Pioneer Press. He sort of asks people questions and just records them. It's like he's got a tape recorder and somebody does the translation.